We have Colby versus Buckley coming up in a few weeks, and it was made in only like 4 or 5 weeks' notice, so I guess we kind of have to give Colby some props for once. But let's be real, anything is an improvement for this guy with his inactive ass coming off one of the worst performances of his career. And yeah, it's not looking good. I truly believe this is Colby's most important fight he's ever had, at least for a while. You know, the Leon fight was important because everyone was saying it's going to be his last chance, but I think this is truly his last chance to get back into title contention. But this is not a video to shit on Colby, okay? I've made a few of them before. I used to be a fan. I just can't anymore. He's too inactive, talking too much shit, not backing up any of it. And him ducking Ian Gary really pissed me off. That was the fight. The press conference would have been amazing, okay? It would have been probably the best press conference we've seen in years. But he doesn't want to fight him, I guess. I don't know. Even though it's not even that hard of a fight for him, that's a winnable fight, man. Why are you taking Buckley over the Cuck? And this pissed me off because I was so excited for Buck versus the Cuck, man. The Buck versus the Cuck, it was perfect. That was going to be such a good matchup. But this one's fine. I mean, I like it. It's probably going to be more of a competitive fight. So today I want to do an early prediction, break down the whole fight, how I think it's going to go, because this is a very important fight for both guys. We have Colby, who's kind of at the end of his career. You know, he's fighting once a year, getting injured when he fights. It's just not looking good. We may not get to watch Colby fight for much longer, boys. Unfortunately, yeah, no, you won't be missed, Colby. I'm sorry. You're just kind of cringe now. You had us, but when you don't back up all the shit you talk, it's just kind of hard to root for you. And we have Buckley, who's come back from being a bit of a journeyman. You know, he's come back at a new weight class, redefined himself as this crazy, athletic, dynamic, just wildcat. You know, he's a bit of a wild card in the division. You don't really know what he's going to do. Throwing his punches, not even looking where he's throwing, just throwing as hard as he can. And it worked. You know, that punch he landed on Wonder Boy that finished him, he wasn't even looking at him. He wasn't even looking where the punch was going to land. He just threw that shit and it landed, all right? There's obviously technique involved, but rip Wonder Boy. I'm still sad about that. But yeah, Buckley on a really good win streak. He's finishing people, looking better and better each fight. I really do think he's getting better every single fight, especially his grappling. Really impressive, really strong, buff, athletic guy he could get the belt. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say he can't get the belt. He can get the belt, all right? Let's not doubt the Buck. But starting first, let's look at these guys' striking, okay? Now, Colby is a bit of a weird one. We know he doesn't put all his power into his punches. He's a bit of a volume guy who goes for crazy combos, tries to drown people with his pace. But I don't really think that's going to work against Buckley. Colby's just really used to clean and calculated and bot-like striking, okay? His biggest opponent, the guy who a lot of people thought he beat, Usman, okay? Usman is not a good boxer. All right, he's a very good striker in the MMA landscape, but a lot of Usman's strikes are not really there to hurt you or knock you out. A lot of his strikes is to just damage you, get closer, get the clinch, push you up against the cage, step on your toes, knee your thighs, and try to get you down, okay? Usman is not a striker. He may have looked like one a lot with Colby, you know, because they just refuse to take each other down. But Usman's not that good of a striker, and that's why Colby was so good looking in those two fights, okay? And if you want to talk about finish potential on the feet, it all goes to Buckley. He's the more powerful guy. He's the younger guy. He has more speed, and he's hungrier. You know, he's never had a title shot. Colby's coming off 3, you know. Like, Buckley's going to want this way more. He's going to be running in, closing the range, closing the distance, the void, as Demetrius would say. Yeah, he's going to be coming in like a madman, and I don't think Colby is used to that at all. I think a lot of his strikers that he's gone against, like Leon, like Usman, are very safe, very calculated, and yeah, they don't go crazy. They don't throw crazy looping overhands like Buckley. I just don't think he's going to be ready for that. Spoiler alert, Buckley's going to fucking win, all right? I haven't said that yet. I usually wait till the end, but no, Buckley's going to win, okay? Obviously, Colby's record is still way better, all right? He still faced way better levels of competition. He has way more 5-round experience, and that's a big thing. I do think there's a good chance with this fight being 5 rounds and Buckley having no 5-round experience, with Colby having a decent amount of it, I think there's a good chance that Colby could drown him, could finish him in the later rounds, but relying on Colby, the pillow hands Colby, to get a finish when in the later rounds he's shown that his gas tank is not unlimited. All right, he is affected by it. So it's hard to, bet on that for him to get a late round finish when they're both exhausted. And with Buckley being way hungrier, I think he's the guy who's going to find the fucking mouthpiece and bite down on it or whatever in the later rounds of that fight if it goes there. Then talking about their grappling, all right? I do think Colby is the better defensive grappler. He's very good at not getting taken down, even though he got taken down by Leon, all right? Shut up, all right? He's still a good grappler, still very clean, very high output. He's going to be constantly shooting, most likely, constantly ready to get shot on. Like, he's always ready to grapple, Colby. You got to give him that. He's a good grappler. He's not the strongest. He's not the quickest with his takedowns or his takedown defense, but he's got the technique and the experience to back it up. And in the beginning of the fight, when both guys are dry, Buckley coming off being super active, Colby coming off of an injury of a year-plus layoff, I think. I just think Buckley's going to have the more confidence. He's going to be the one to shoot first, and I think he's probably going to get Colby down. I just don't think Colby's grappling is going to hold up. I think Buckley's part of, not the new generation of grapplers, but his grappling is getting so much better every single fight. Every time we see him fight, he's getting better, which is such a good look. To where we see Colby, he's getting worse. He's getting slightly worse. That Leon performance was embarrassing. I don't care if you broke your foot. You didn't even do anything. How do you break your foot? I do think Buckley is a bit plotty at times, but he makes up for that with his crazy wild strikes that he just goes for randomly. So it won't really matter against Colby, the most plotty fighter of all time. He's in that Leon fight, he was just the definition of plotty and low output. He didn't do shit. He didn't even try anything. He was just worrying about that injury, I guess. It's probably pretty hard to fight with a broken foot. But I remember when he said that, I didn't even believe him. I just thought he folded under the pressure after the big layoff and just couldn't put the performance together. And if we want to talk about their chins a bit, Colby ain't KOing nobody. So Buckley's chin don't really matter in this situation. But Buckley's chin has been proven. It's not unbreakable. He's been finished twice. Lost his debut, I think, to Kevin Holland. And then I think he got knocked out by Chris Curtis. I think that sounds right. Pretty good chin, though. He's fought a lot of people. He's basically beat everyone else. Most of his losses are only by knockout with those two. And I think he has like one, maybe two more by decision. But that was at a different weight class, all right? That was at 185, right? He's at 170 now. I don't know. The cut's worse, but I guess the cut wasn't that bad at 185. So his chin is not a problem. I think he's really tough, really big-ass, strong neck. So his chin should be fine, especially against the pillow hands Colby himself. I need to chill on the Colby pillow hands thing. He doesn't really have pillow hands, but he does. He can't finish anybody with punches. He just can't. The only finish he has is like Tyrone Woodley off of an injury. He broke his rib, bro. That's not a TKO, okay? It's just not. So, yeah, after all that, I do think Buckley's going to get it done. I don't really think kicks are going to come into play here a lot. I think the first round, maybe two, will be somewhat mostly stand-up. By saying all this, I hope Colby comes back. I hope he looks way better. I hope he looks the best he ever has. And I low-key hope he beats Buckley. I love Buckley, but I kind of want to see Colby come back. As an old Colby fan, I kind of want to see him win again, It would hit. And I'm really not trying to discredit Colby. I'm really not. I used to like him, but, dude, recently, I'm just talking about the Colby we've seen recently, His most recent performances have just not been it, all right? I know he's not that many performances away from his Usman fights. I get it. He's only like one or two fights away from there, but that just shows how inactive this motherfucker is. Fight more, Colby. If you want to get that title, if you want to win the fans back, be active. That's all we can ask for, really. So, yeah, official prediction. Give me Buckley by round 3 or round 4. TKO. Gets him on the ground. Lands decent amount of ground and pound through the whole fight. Slowly breaks him down. Bloodies him up. gets him tired. I know that's Colby's thing usually, but I think he's actually going to get it reversed on his ass, okay? I think he's going to get taken down, beat up, controlled, and then I think he'll wilt in the 3rd or 4th round, you know? I could see a 5-round decision for Buckley as well, and if Colby wants to win it, it's going to have to be through a late round drownage stoppage. You know, he just drowns Buckley with his pace and volume like he used to, but we haven't seen that Colby in a while, so who knows? And yeah, Colby, he could get a 5-round decision as well. Let's just hope no robberies, no bad decisions if it goes to decision, because this is going to be a close fight, I think. I think Buckley getting the takedowns is going to make it look pretty dominant, but I think Colby will be able to get back up most of the time. I don't think he'll get controlled for whole rounds. You know, he's a good grappler. I think this will be a pretty fun fight at the end of it. I think it will be. You know, two wrestlers usually strike for a decent little bit. Both guys pissed off. They're gonna hate each other after the press conferences, no matter what. So Buckley's kind of a retard at press conferences. So he should just keep his mouth shut and just say, Colby, you lost. You suck, bro. You suck. Like, I'm gonna beat your ass. That's all he needs to say. And Colby's just gonna try to do too much, make a fool of himself probably, like he usually does. I do think Buckley absolutely destroying Ian Gary would have been more fun, but Sean Scott, you have a job, okay? Especially with the video I made the other day. You got to do it. I've put my whole honor on the line, okay? Destroy Ian Gary and Buckley destroy Colby. So then we can make the two losers fight after all. Colby versus Ian. That needs to happen, okay? That's the fight. That's the fight that should be happening now, okay? I'll see you guys in the next one.